Hello there, Scorpio. It's so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today I am doing a special reading. This reading is really based on your soul's purpose. So we'll take a look at what is coming through from Spirit about what your soul's purpose is while you're here, and then also the strength or the light attributes that you have in order to fulfill your soul's purpose, and also the shadow side. We all have light and shadow. So the shadow side is kind of those issues or those wounds, those traumas that we work through over our lifetime in order to really fulfill our soul's purpose. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the animal spirit. So we're going to see what animal spirit is kind of joining you on this path to finding your soul's purpose and living through that. Coyote spirit, trust in divine detours. The message I got with this right off the bat was not to fear when there's change in your life. Now, Scorpio, you're somebody that doesn't mind change. You're always trying to transform yourself, right? Always trying to find the best version of yourself. But sometimes there's this energy of wanting to resist change. Maybe because you're attached to a certain outcome or something, but this is a message from Spirit letting you know that when change comes into your life, to not fear it, to embrace it, to know that it is part of your path. That, there's almost like this sense of, being ashamed of wanting to change something, almost a sense of, well, I don't want to change something like, it's kind of like, then it looks like I've changed my mind. It's about embracing the changes that you feel like making, because it is part of your nature to want to transform, to make changes. So let's see what your soul's traveler card is here in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. Yeah, I feel like when you embrace whatever changes you need to make, it's kind of like things move along. It's when you are blocking the changes that Spirit or the divine is trying to make in your life. That's when you get the choppy waters, the turbulent waters. I mean, that's kind of true for all of us. But I do think it's interesting that it's a strong message coming out. Okay, so let's take a look at your Moonology card. A time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo. So, Virgo is a sign of, going within, trying to bring structure, routine into matters, of having the discipline, the self-discipline to follow through on commitments that you make to yourself or you make to others. And I'm wondering, we're going to see how this is about divine detours. Understanding that sometimes there is a need to change, but change within a structured type of environment instead of making rash decisions, putting structure to them, having a plan, not that you have to plan out every single thing, but, having a plan for the changes that you want to make in your life so that, you're not just kind of like jumping ship. It's interesting. And then, she's in a ship over here. Not jumping ship just to jump ship. To understand that when new opportunities come onto your path, that there is something about transitioning very smoothly. And not burning any bridges is what they're saying. Yeah. So, sometimes when we're leaving one situation and going to another, sometimes we can act like, oh, I don't care about that person or that situation. They're never going to be in my life again. But it does, even if you never see that person in your life again, it is about closing out chapters in your life in a good karmic way. Right? Of wishing a person or a situation well and wishing yourself well, but understanding that closing out certain, look at this. We have soulmate on the bottom. Understanding that closing out chapters in your life in a good way, in a smooth way is really important. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So, first, I'm going to take a look at your overall soul's purpose and then the major obstacle that you have in either stepping onto your path or fulfilling your soul's purpose. Peace and co create. Imagine. Yeah, okay. So, I think it's interesting because you have everything is smooth sailing and peace. You know, of learning how to transition from one part of your life to the next in a peaceful way. Once again, not like ending things in a bad way, holding grudges or having people be upset with you when you move from one chapter or situation, relationship to the next, about allowing things to end in a peaceful way, because this will help to create more peace within yourself. But also part of your soul's purpose is to have a sense of peace that you are sharing with the world to help bring more peace into the world. So your whole soul's purpose is about peace, which is kind of interesting because, you know, Scorpio, you're somewhat of a, you know, always trying to make change, trying to make things better. But sometimes your energy doesn't come across as wanting to do it in a peaceful way. And I guess that it's, you know, part of your soul's purpose is to make the changes that you feel like you need to make. Understanding that these are all divine detours. Every change that you make is actually an opportunity for you to learn how to make change in a peaceful way. It's not that you have to keep everything in your life the same. That's what Spirit's saying. No. In fact, you may have a lot of changes over the course of your life. And a lot of it, you may have a lot of different jobs or careers, relationships. But it's learning how to go from one thing to the next in a peaceful way. Of leaving the doors of opportunity open, to bridge, to go from one situation to the next with a bridge that you could cross back over if you want to. They're saying you may have a tendency of burning bridges, right? So you leave a situation, but you just burn the bridge. I'm never going back to that. Well, it's not about going actually back to something from the past. You might be wanting to, but it's more like just leaving that opportunity open to you. Because the people or the situations that you left behind, even if you don't return to them, they could help you in the future. Really interesting. So what's crossing you is co-creating, you know, working with the divine, understanding that these detours come up as part of your path of learning how to bring more peace to the world. So, you know, it really is, it's a time to give rather than take. So you may be dealing with a Virgo. You don't have to be, but you know, this energy of giving more, and I'm going to say give more peace to your situations, especially at this time, to give more peace, more love, more light to the situation instead of trying to take from the situation. So, you know, when we take, there's an equal give and take in every situation. We need to have equal give and take. But sometimes if you get, it's saying that to give rather than take, which is leading me to believe that there's a situation in your life right now where you may be trying to get more out of the situation than you're actually giving to the situation. This could be, you know, a job, a career, a relationship. Could be a behavior, it could be a habit of yours where you're trying to get more out of it than you're giving. And so this is coming up as part of your path of peace, you know, of taking a look at, okay, how can I add more peace, more love, more light to this situation that you're, you know, somehow trying to get more out of than you're giving. So, you know, a lot of times when we're trying to get something more out of a situation or a relationship, it's because we feel deprived. And it could be in that same situation, or it could be in another area of our life. So sometimes if we feel emotionally or mentally deprived in say a love relationship, right? Then we may try to get a lot out of our work, okay? Get, paid more or something like that, because we're trying to balance out the energies within us. So sometimes if there's a situation where you're not honestly getting what you really need, then you might try to take in another situation or in another relationship. So that's interesting that that is coming out, or you could feel like you're not getting enough recognition in, in your work arena, right? And if you're not getting enough recognition there, then you might try to get more than your share in another situation, like a romantic situation or a family or a friend situation. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is the fun part, Scorpio. We're going to be taking a look at your light attributes and your shadow attributes. And once again, we all have light and shadow attributes. Those are, what the light attributes are related to our gifts and our talents. Our shadow attributes are kind of related to the wounds that we have, the pain that we are trying to heal. So we'll take a look at both of those and see how they are playing out in this soul's purpose of creating peace, not only for yourself, but for the world. Okay, on the bottom, we have beggar. So this is your overall. And the light attribute says confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So it's by whatever you are creating in the physical. Okay, so that would be like your pentacles, the things that you can hold, your house, your car, your clothing, your objects, that it, by empowering yourself in the 3D things that you can hold, it's helping you to also open up to, your spiritual authority or your spiritual, talents or gifts of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Really interesting, because a lot of time, if we have a romantic relationship that ends, one of the things we sometimes do is throw ourselves into our career, right? Because it's kind of like, but actually that's a very good healing energy, because when we throw ourselves into our career for a short period of time, not for the rest of our lives, but like overwhelmingly go to work, go within, create, that type of thing, it does help us to heal our heart, to reach our inner child and stuff. So I feel as if part of finding your peace within yourself and then sharing this peace, this knowledge, this wisdom of peace with the rest of the world is to go, to find yourself in your work, to find success for yourself in your work, because by doing that, it's going to help you open up to your self-esteem and your compassion, not only for yourself, but for others. Now, the shadow side of this, and this is your overall, right, is dependency on others to the exclusion of effort, which means that, it's the beggar is a little bit like, expecting other people in your life to provide for you instead of providing for yourself. So when you step into the energy of providing for yourself, of owning your own responsibility for yourself in the 3D, of manifesting what it is that you want for yourself in the 3D, that's how you build your self-esteem, right? And then you move out of that energy of expecting other people to, I would say, do more than their share, right? It's coming back to that. So what do we have here? This is your light, okay? This is your gift, your talent. We have the damsel. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Once again, the damsel in distress is the one, that feels like, and gender doesn't matter, but, it's like the princess in the tower that's waiting for the knight to come in and save her and, make life all perfect, right? So, you could have, grown up with that energy of, like a Cinderella or something like that, of needing other people in your life to really take care of you. That is being opened up, because when you're in an energy of feeling like other people need to do their more for you, right? More than their fair share, give you more than maybe what you are entitled to. Let's put it that way, right? Then what happens is that you're not in a peaceful situation. To find the peace is to step again, once these two are so similar, right? Is to step into this energy of, I can provide for myself. I can, create the 3D world that I want for myself. I don't have to rely on other people. Okay, now, so the shadow side of that is waiting for the night. Okay, so now this is your gift. This is your talent. So Scorpio, let's talk about that. That means that you have the ability to create and, provide for yourself. So you may be sitting there saying, well, Mary Sue, that's easier said than done. But this is your gift or talent. This is spirit coming in and saying to you, listen, Scorpio, you have all of the gifts and talents, the worthiness to provide for yourself. Your purpose here is to step into that energy. And when you step into the energy of truly providing for yourself, it's going to help your self-esteem to raise. And it inspires you to not only rely on yourself to provide what it is that you want for yourself in the 3D. It also helps you to provide this peaceful way of teaching other people how to rely on themselves. So let's take a look at this. Say, say you are, let's take this scenario of, a single mom that is on a very, does not have a lot of extra money, is maybe working, 2 jobs to help keep food on the table or something like that. Say you're in a situation where you really are having a difficult time making ends meet. But then, you step into this energy of going back to school, getting another degree or getting a degree, right? Of finding the people and the organizations maybe that can help you to provide daycare for your children so that you can go back to school, or the scholarship money, or, you go through a whole process. It doesn't mean that you have to totally do it by yourself. It means that you're using your intelligence, your savvy, your know-how, your ability to ask for help when you need help, right? But not expecting other people to give it to you, but using what is available to you in order to come into a place where you have more money than you need, that you can start going into the smooth sailing, that, there isn't a underlying turbulence of, how am I going to pay the rent next month? So then once you learn that, then you may start another business or something like that, or a YouTube channel, or you may speak, at organizations, churches, or someplace like that, to help other mothers or single mothers or women, that are in similar situations that you were in. You help them somehow to overcome the obstacles in order to find peace in their life. So it can be any situation that you feel, this is the divine saying, they've put something on your path that is difficult on purpose. It could be a habit. It could be a pattern of behavior. It's something that's in your life that is difficult for you. Overcoming that, stepping into this energy of, a knight in shining armor doesn't have to save you. Your parents don't have to save you. The government doesn't have to save you. That you step into your own power of understanding, okay, I may need a little help, but I can do this on my own. So I love that energy, because that if you it's about bringing up your self-esteem, of standing in your power, because you know in your heart that you can do it yourself. So the shadow side is the advocate, and it says embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Once again, taking more than you need. So let's go back to the single, mother situation. There's, for a while, you may need, financial support from, your local government or your country or from churches in order to provide food for your family, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you're stepping into this energy of that is temporary. I'm only doing that for a temporary time until I can really, rely on myself. I can finish my education. I can get a job, whatever. And I'm not saying this is easy, Scorpio. This is difficult energy. But understanding that by overcoming that, you are truly stepping in to your gift, your talent of trying to find peace, not only within yourself, but also within those that you come in contact with. And then I think to also, to send it out to the world, to help other people, to provide compassion, empathy, and self-esteem to others. Yeah, I'm not sure what this may have to do. I really, I feel like there is maybe a financial obstacle that you have. It could be a health obstacle that you have. It's something where it's easy. Let's put it this way. This is on your path, and it's easy for you to fall into an energy of expecting other people to help you, instead of relying on yourself. Now, once again, it doesn't mean that you can't accept help from others, right? But it has to be equal give and take. It's not, I'm entitled to that help because I have this huge obstacle in my life, right? It's like, okay, I'm accepting this help for right now, but I am going to repay it. It's that sense of, okay, I do need this help at this time, but I am going to repay it. Really interesting. They're also giving me, like, if you had a car accident or something and had a physical injury that was traumatic to your life, like you lost the use of your legs, okay? It could be very easy for somebody to fall into an energy of thinking, well, everybody has to take care of me now, or that insurance company needs to pay out big, overwhelmingly. Not just, yes, you would be compensated. I'm not saying that, but it's like, oh, I need so much more than they're willing to give me. It's about recognizing that, these detours, these obstacles that are on your path are meant for you to see the reasonable, let's put it that way, the reasonable amount that you should be provided, the reasonable amount of help, of financial support. And then also realizing, yeah, it could be just for a temporary time. We all fall into situations, that, and I feel, Scorpio, that you may find yourself in these situations quite often. And you're kind of like, wait a minute, why am I always in these situations? Well, it's part of learning how to rely on yourself. You could have, a health crisis and have to learn how to physically rely on yourself, right? You may have to learn how to re-walk or learn how to, maneuver in, with a wheelchair or something like that. So you overcome that, and then all of a sudden there's another detour. Like you lose your job, right? And now you're financially, say your whole career is like, evaporated for, I don't know. And it's kind of like, now I have to change careers because there's no jobs in my field anymore, for whatever reason. And then going back to school, getting back up on your, your financial footing and being able to move forward. And then you might find it in love, like another, situation. And each time, what you're being asked to do is to learn how to rely on yourself, to understand that you have the strength, the courage to overcome any obstacle, and then to be able to share that energy with other people that are also experiencing difficult times in their life. Wow. Big. Okay, Nine of Cups, moving towards this peace, this harmony within yourself. It's almost as if you may feel like you're fighting the world, right? Like the world is always the universe is always throwing you these zingers, and you're a Wonder Woman with her bracelets or whatever. Kind of like always, fighting back. But it is about fighting back and knowing that you can do it, that you don't have to wait for somebody to swoop in and save you again. Okay, so let's go. We're going to take a look at the tarot now and see how this is playing out in your life at this moment. Okay, interesting. Hermit energy on the bottom, might be dealing with a Virgo, but you don't have to. It's about going within to find the answers. There is a truth that you need to step into. A truth that you are an empress, that you can take action as an empress. The empress is somebody that knows gender doesn't matter, knows that she can create the world that she wants for herself. That she doesn't have to rely on other people, if she wants to drive a fancy sports car or something, she knows she can provide it. She doesn't have to bat her eyes or whatever, and try to get somebody else to buy the car for her. That, you can create. This is you creating, taking action as yourself to, bring into fruition those things that you want with the Six of Pentacles, but doing it with a balanced energy of not trying to, take advantage of anybody else. And I don't mean that to sound negative, Scorpio. This is just your energy of, trying your shadow side. Something to think about is about trying to take advantage of other people, committing for personal gain. It's not like you're trying to get something for a greater good. You're trying to take more than your share in some situation or relationship. Okay, so your obstacle at this time is world, having a hard time stepping into a new world. Okay, let's clarify this. The world is coming full circle. Beginnings and endings, being willing to end something so that you can begin something new. So let's see what we have here. Queen of Swords, Five of Cups, Ace of Cups, Eight of Swords. Yeah, this is causing that self-doubt, that self-esteem, that by standing in your own power, relying only on yourself, you can build your self-esteem. So there is something that is wanting to come to an end. This could be a relationship, a job, a career, a behavior, a habit. It could be a way of thinking. Something needs to come to an end. You're resisting it at this time. But something needs to end so that you can start something new. Understanding that, you're needing to finish up the lesson in this situation so that you can move on to the next situation. And it's as if you are focusing. Let's put it this way. You're like focusing on what you're losing instead of what you're gaining in this situation. Sometimes when I'm in a situation and I don't like the way it's going, I can get into that energy of just looking at what I'm losing, right? It's very negative. And, it says embracing negativity, right? It's a very negative thing. Instead of thinking about, okay, all right, yeah, I'm not happy about having to lose that, to give that up. But guess what? I'm going to get more by moving forward and understanding that I have to end something in order to gain something new. And it is understanding that it's like you can't have your cake and eat it. That doesn't make sense. But whatever the saying is, it's kind of like, it's almost as if you want to take everything. It's like trying to get all of the juice out of a lemon, but then also taking the pulp and the shell of the lemon with you as you move on to the next lemon to squeeze it. It's understanding that you're fine. You can rely on yourself. It's almost like a fear of having the world, the rug ripped out from underneath you, because your advice here is to take a really good look at how you are judging other people, other situations, and yourself. So let's go ahead and clarify that. About understanding that we're basically everybody's doing the best that they can at that time. Doesn't mean that they might not do better in the future or whatever, but there's an energy of perhaps overly judging a situation or judging a person, and maybe even overly judging yourself, of needing to bring balance, into the judgment of these situations, giving and taking in the equal amounts. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, okay, I do feel like it may have something to do with your career. Lots of pentacles here. Part of it could be that, you're not really sure what it is that you want out of life, love, a house, a home. The Four of Wands is the happy home, the happy family, celebrations. It's like you're not really sure. I get the sense that it's kind of like, well, I'm not really sure, so I want to take everything with me, right? It's kind of like going on a vacation and maybe you're not sure where the destination is or what the weather's going to be like at the destination. So you're in an energy of, well, then I'm packing all of my clothes, right? You're trying to take too much from one chapter of your life to the next. It's about understanding that, well, if you get there and you have the wrong kind of shoes or you need a coat and you don't have a coat, then you just go buy one, or borrow one, or rely on yourself to figure it out. Like that you don't have to, it's almost like you're holding on to everything because you're not sure what the future brings. It's about making decisions about what it is that you do want in your life, understanding that when you decide one path, that you are closing off another path. And when you close off the path, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to keep all the paths open. You can close that path off for a little while. But to make sure that you are not burning bridges when you close off a path. So that if you want to, you can go back and reopen that path at some other date. So it's about not being too harsh when you're closing out one path to join another, and not perhaps over judging either yourself, other people, or the path that you're on. There's almost like you're constantly judging. Is this the right path? Am I on the right path? Do I have the right clothes for this path? Do I have the right knowledge? Not sure. And it's all about your self-esteem, understanding that Yeah, you got everything you need. You're going to be okay. Because there's a sense of just hoarding. The Four of Pentacles is a little bit of a hoarding energy. I'm holding on to all of my money. I don't want anybody to take any of my money. This is my money. Almost wanting more than your share of money in some situation. So it's like, I'm holding on to this. Okay, so asking yourself, Scorpio, why are you hoarding or holding on to money or tangible things? This could be actually objects. You could be, I have a friend and she hoards. I'm going to use the word hoards like plastic containers, that food comes in. So it's one thing, she's always kind of like, yeah, well, I don't know. I can reuse these. Okay. What are you reusing them for? Well, I could put paint in them, or I could put food in them, or I could take my lunch to work in them. Well, how many do you need? I mean, she has hundreds, but she cannot throw them away or recycle them. She can't dispose of them in a good way for some reason. She just feels like, and I mean, that's kind of maybe a silly story, but it's almost asking yourself, what is it that all of this money is representing to you? Why do you feel like you have to have so much? To the point where it's coming out that you're wanting more than you need. That, I feel like it has something to do with you're not sure about the stability of your life, not sure about the stability of your family, your marriage, your relationships. So you may feel like, well, I have to have all of this because if I have all of this, then I will be okay on my own. But Spirit's saying, no, you're going to be okay on your own no matter what. I feel like a lot of that comes out because, you've had one experience or a few or maybe even several experiences where you felt like you did not have enough money. So you may, King of Cups is about putting the love into it. It's almost as if you are completely, at this time, completely judging everything on how much, what is that saying? Show me the money. It's kind of like, show me the money. Like, just keep giving me some money here. And then what you're going to do is once you release that energy of needing to have, a sense of moving out of the energy of judging, of making sure that everybody's getting the same slice of pie, of understanding that in the end, the divine makes karma comes into balance. If somebody's getting a little bit more than you right now for some reason, then later on you'll get more than somebody else. That in the end, the divine will, provide what you need, but also even out everything, that you don't have to worry about who's getting more than you. Because I feel like you may be actually gaining with this showing up. You may actually be kind of like taking on some bad karma because you're trying to get more than your share. And if you try to get more than your entitled share or your fair share now, and perhaps through, like negative ways or taking advantage of other people, then it'll come back. It'll backfire on you. Karma will come around and make sure things are, fair. So it is about taking a look at that. And then I feel like once you move through that energy, you are looking at different options about how to provide for yourself, stepping into your truth of understanding that, okay, wait a minute. We all are entitled to, have, happiness, joy, abundance, understanding that you have more than you need with the Nine of Pentacles. You have more than you need. Stepping into that truth of, I have more than I need, and I can share what I have with others. And share your knowledge, understanding that this was a difficult path maybe at times, but I feel like you're understanding now that some of your indecision about what it is that you truly want has kind of led you down this path of not being able to decide what to take and what not to take as you move from one chapter to the next, of, you know, moving you into an energy of perhaps wanting to have everything, you know, to excess. I'd love to hear in the comments how this might resonate with you, because you know, there is a strong sense here of, you know, root chakra needing grounding, you know, of not feeling safe and secure. And if you don't feel safe and secure, that would cause, you know, a lot of this, you know, wanting to hold on to objects, you know, that you may need in the future. You know, I read this thing once and it said that, you know, when we don't trust ourselves, which is a little bit of this energy here, when we don't trust ourselves, you know, that's when we tend to hoard, because we kind of feel like, well, I have to hold on to this because I am not self-reliant. I can't provide for myself, so I better hold on to everything, you know, that comes my way, whether I think I need it or not. Really interesting. Okay, how can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? And I think that that's the key here, is to recognizing, to loving yourself, to knowing that you have the skills, the talent, the intellect, the savvy, the business know-how to build the life that you want in the 3D. And understanding that a lot of that starts with loving ourselves, trusting ourselves, knowing that if we commit to ourselves, we can commit to anything and have it work. All right, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Buddha. So today's soul action, and then there's a list here, but it's set strong boundaries, speak to yourself with compassion, focus on your strengths, say no to something that isn't a soul yes, and say yes to something you are afraid of. Let go of what you cannot control. You know, that's a big part of it. Sometimes when we're trying to get more than our share, or hoarding a little bit, then there is this energy, you know, that you can't control the situation, or you're out of control in your own life. You feel like you don't have enough control over your own decisions or the decisions of the people around you. So you're just trying to get as much as you can out of it. Ask for help and allow it. Remember, I was saying, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, right? It's when you are, you know, constantly asking for help and feeling like people owe you the help, right? That's when it's the problem. Asking for help is not, right? In fact, a lot of times that's part of our path, is just learning how to ask for help, because a lot of people don't want to ask for help because that's like a sign of weakness to them. And write down 3 things you are grateful for. Oh, Scorpio, I'm grateful for you. I really am. And I feel like this is a lovely, you know, energy of, you know, coming into understanding that we all do go through times where we need to ask for help, where we feel like we can't rely on ourselves, but understanding that we can definitely rely on ourselves. All right, prayer. Dear God, help me always to remember that this present life is but a fleeting moment within eternity. Help me always to remember that this life is but a dream. Help me to always remember that you exist within everyone and everything. Help me always to remember that love is all there is and all else is an illusion. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like you at this time, there's a little bit of an energy of maybe not quite connecting with others, in this situation or in your life in general, at the soul level, understanding that we are all love, we are all light, we are all connected. I feel like you may be in a situation right now where you feel like it's you against the world. And if that is true, Scorpio, I do send you lots of love and hugs, because there is kind of this, defensive wall up, trying to make sure that you are okay. But you are okay. The energy is here. All will work out. Shift into love, shift into compassion for yourself and compassion for the other people in this situation. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. I do personal readings. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. And I also appreciate all of your support, your likes, your subscribings, all of that. I really do appreciate all that you do to support my channel. And I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light to you. Bye for now.